Salutations to my fellow Rotarians of District 7670. It is a very special district assembly today. I'm District Governor David Waechter from the Rotary Club of Lenore, and I hereby call this assembly to order. In the spirit of the late district's trainer, Jack McCaskill, I say to you all, it is a great day to be a Rotarian, and Rotary opens opportunities. I now call upon Rotarian Rick Emus of the Rotary Club of Pisgah Forest to provide us an inspirational moment of reflection.
Thanks, David. First, I want to acknowledge that it seems daunting, it feels daunting to be asked to provide inspiration relative to this conversation. I am a 62-year-old white male who has no lived experience as a minority. By gender, by sexual preference, by ethnicity. And if I have anything to share that I think sets the stage for some very important conversation to follow, it's simply to acknowledge the growing personal discomfort that I've experienced through my life, and most importantly through recent months, that I think is reflected in many Rotarians' experience as we speak, as we come together today. I grew up in a small town in northern Michigan, 4,000 folks, a sprinkling of minorities. My dad was a Michigan State policeman, in fact, was called up for the Detroit riots in '68. I regret that I never asked him what that experience was like, what he felt in doing his duty in that context. I don't know, and he's not around for me to ask in this moment. What I know is my parents raised me to be a kind, decent human being, treat others as I wanted to be treated. I viewed myself, my self-identity was as a young man, a naively progressive human being that would of course treat others as myself. And the first puncture to that reality was when I went to the Air Force Academy, and one of my first roommates was an African-American, Don Walters, and he was a sharp young man. And I remember one morning he was brushing his teeth in our bathroom, and I walked in and he was cleaning his tongue with his toothbrush. I'd never seen that done. The striking thing to me in that moment was I felt almost defensive, threatened, embarrassed. I don't know what I felt, but the fact that this young black man seemed to have better hygiene than I was raised with caught me completely by surprise. If it had been our third roommate, a white man, I never would have felt that. And that set me back in my tracks. That did not fit with my self-identity. Roll forward 20 years or so, I was married for the second time. My wife and I had a couple of miscarriages and decided that adoption was the pathway for us to build a family. We went the pathway of international adoption. And if I'm able to, I want to just show you what that path looked like for us as a family. Let me see. And it took us on a journey to Eastern Russia. Yuri under my left arm is Mongolian descent. Gia to the far left of this picture is from China. We have 2 children from Guatemala, and in front, 2 kids from Ethiopia. So in my 40s and 50s, I found myself in the role of parent to a young black man and multiple other kids from different parts of the world. And found myself having, as he grew from this cute young boy, black boy, to a strapping 11-year-old now, he's getting big, having to think about having conversations with him about what, black parents are familiar with and have always been familiar with and wrestled with. What concerns did I need to have as a parent to keep him safe? And roll forward to recently watching the video around George Floyd's death and seeing that, and any human being who has an ounce of empathy or compassion had to be appalled, had to be distraught. And it really opened it created a shift in me that I more fully had to realize what I didn't know about systemic racism, what I didn't know, what should or could be required of me to step into a role as an ally and to be anti-racist instead of just viewing myself as a decent human being who of course treated people equitably. It has impacted my life in a variety of ways. What I read, what I view, who I talk to, it has impacted my relationship with my Rotary Club. I've been a Rotarian for 3 years, and I have been incredibly comfortable as a member of Rotary because it fit my values so well. Service above self. I have always had a core value of wanting to be of use, wanting to leave things better than I found them. And I found colleagues and friends in Rotary who I was incredibly comfortable stepping into a variety of service activities and helping to try to make our community together. The reason we're all called to Rotary. But over the last few months, as we all experienced the unrest across the country on the heels of George Floyd's death and many others' deaths, have entered into thoughts and conversations with Rotarians in my club and found a variety of responses, some incredibly open to considering how we needed to change and grow as a Rotary club to be more engaging, to ask hard questions like, why did we as a club of 50 Rotarians have one person of color? What did we need to do differently as a group to be more engaging, to find common purpose with minorities in our communities, and to make sure that they felt a part of our purpose and they would feel more welcome, and to understand why when we invited them, they didn't come back and they didn't find common purpose with us. Those things leave me uncomfortable, and it makes me understand that I don't have answers, but I know I need to be part of working with our club to find the answers to those questions going forward. So more questions than answered than answers. I don't know if there's inspiration there, but as I wrestled with these questions, what I decided to do was to go back to the very basics, and for me, be guided by the wisdom of the ages. I went back to the Book of Common Prayer, and I want to close with this prayer that was written in the Middle Ages that I think helps provide me with guidance today, and I hope our club and Rotary in general. From the Book of Common Prayer: may we contend fearlessly against evil and make no peace with oppression. May we, like generations before us, resist the evil of slavery and human bondage in any form and any manner of oppression. May we use our freedoms to bring justice among people and nations everywhere. May all people be witnesses of truth, justice, and brotherly love. May we banish from our hearts whatever might endanger peace. May our leaders be enlightened so that they may guarantee and defend the great gift of peace. May all peoples on the earth become as brothers and sisters. May longed for peace blossom forth and reign always over us all. May we eliminate cruelty to those people who live with injustice, terror, disease, and death as their constant companions. May we help strengthen those who spend their lives establishing equal protection of the law and equal opportunities for all. May every one of us enjoy a fair portion of the riches of this world. Thank you, David.
Amen. Thank you, Rick, for that wonderful inspiration. Now, will you please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance? I have a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a global network that strives to build a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change, Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds, regardless of their age, ethnicity, race, color, abilities, religion, socioeconomic status, culture, sex, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Rotary welcomes people of all backgrounds, cultures, experiences, and identities. Rotary strives for the fair treatment, opportunity, and advancement of all Rotary participants. Rotary is working to create experiences where all people feel welcomed, respected, and valued. A top priority for Rotary is growing and diversifying our membership to make sure we reflect the communities we serve. We're creating an organization that is more open and inclusive, fair to all, builds goodwill, and benefits our communities. We want people with differing perspectives and ideas who will help Rotary take action to create lasting change in communities around the world. Through Rotary, you'll find opportunities to get involved. Everyone is welcome in Rotary. Our topic today is being a Black Rotarian in District 7670. My friends, we are members of one of the most diverse organizations in the world. I am proud to be a Rotarian with you today. Today, we are people of action. We are people seeking to grow and learn together. We will inspire goodness and peace. Together, we can make the world a better place. And we will begin this work right here where we are the most comfortable, where we understand and know the most people, right here in District 7670, right in our own Rotary Club. Today, we are going to learn and we are going to grow. I have learned that we have work to do in order to expand our reach and increase our impact across a more diverse population. I learned this not by reading books or looking at social media or watching television. I learned this by listening to people. I have listened to many people discuss race recently because the conversation around Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, systemic racism, and others made me uneasy because I wanted to understand where this was coming from, where we are headed, and how I can be a better person. I purposefully and I intentionally went to Black people to seek their perspective. They shared those perspectives with me, and my heart moved. Today, they are going to share it with you. This is important because this is what we are discussing now. This is the topic today. Another day, there may be another topic, but today, we are taking action to recognize, acknowledge, and grow from the stories of three very different Black Rotarians with different backgrounds and different viewpoints. You will be a better Rotarian when you hear these stories. You will be part of lasting change. If we are going to grow Rotary, we must grow ourselves. Do you remember when you were growing? Do you? You were an adolescent. You were awkward, frustrated, full of energy, battling competing thoughts and concerns. You were challenging norms. You were asking lots of questions. You were fearless in your quest for truth. You were sometimes hurting, sometimes thrilled. Sometimes you were beyond the boundaries. Some things you probably did or said and you regret. And yet there are other things you wished you had done or said, and you were afraid to do so at the time. That is the nature of growth. It feels uncomfortable, and therefore, once we satisfy ourselves that we have grown sufficiently, we cease to put ourselves in positions of discomfort. We seek calmness and quiet. We seek peace and tranquility. We want to be left to our own devices where we can be in control and not be challenged. We just want to earn a living, raise a family, have some grandkids, go on vacation, and see the world. We just want to pursue happiness. And so does everyone. Everyone. But in our deep comfort, there are times where those who are so inclined and willing to press into a more complete understanding of what life means, there are times where we ask ourselves why. Why do these people on TV act that way? Why are they saying that? Why do they hurt so much in this land of plenty? What do the words racism, inequity, implicit bias, what do they mean? We cannot seek to explain all of these today. We can only hope to provide a little context of what is real. And what is real, my fellow Rotarians, is that people have feelings. And we're going to hear about those feelings today. To begin, it is my great pleasure that I present you our first storyteller. Past District Governor Isaac Owolabi is from Nigeria. He is African, and he is American. Isaac is a merry soul with a beautiful laugh. We all recognize when he is in the room. We all know and love Isaac very much. Isaac is a member of the Rotary Club of Asheville-Biltmore. Today, Isaac will share his story. PDG Isaac, welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, DG David. And I thank many of our fellow Rotarians from all over the district attending this meeting today. The time we've been given to share is so little, but I'm going to try to stay within the confined time. So I will not be able to say everything on my mind, but I just give you a little bit of what my experience has been as a Rotarian. Again, thank you, DG David. I have been with this district 27 years. You are the first district governor to ever look into this issue. Now, the issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's only new, if I can say new, only in the United States. You all need to go, if you have ever been to international convention, nobody will ever question where are you from, what is it, because the international convention is a symbolic of what true Rotary is, because you have people from all languages, all culture, all countries of the world. And my visit to my first international convention really gave me a different perspective about what Rotary truly is. Many of us in District 7670, we have seen a little bit of Rotary, but not the full complexity of Rotary until you attend an international convention. My first experience in Rotary was 30 years ago in a small community called Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. There were 4 families that looks like me in the entire city of 37,000 people. And I joined Rotary as a chartered member of the second club in that community. And part of the reason why I joined Rotary was for networking. And when I came in, to be honest with you, I feel sense of belonging, because everyone 27 of us chartered that club, and every one of them received me wholeheartedly. 27 years ago, I relocated to North Carolina. And I want to tell you a couple experience. I was looking for a religious organization to belong and to attend. And I went to one of my first denomination to attend as a guest. And at the end of that service, a gentleman, older man, came to me and said this to me. Well, we've had people from your community. They have come, but none of them will stay. We hope you can stay. Guess what happened? That was my last visit to that church. I never went back there. And I'm going to save the name. I went to one of our clubs here just to visit because I prefer to make 100% participation. My secretary our secretary from my club is here. He always tell me, you don't even need to give us makeup. You are 150% attendance. So, and I've maintained perfect attendance since I joined Rotary up to today. And I went to one of our clubs in this district. And I went there, quite honest with you, they made me feel you don't belong here. And you're not welcome here. Now, that club has changed since then. This was about 26, 25 years ago that I visited that club. The issue of racial justice, it's something we have to intentionally step into. It's not enough to just invite one single black lady or man to your club. If you do, he or she will not stay. How can we do it? You have to intentionally invite 2 or 3 or 4 at the same time, along with other group, and meet with them and talk about Rotary to them. And then when 2 or 3 African Americans come to your club, they are likely to stay and enjoy fellowship with you. And I want to conclude with this comment. Many of us, we need to understand and learn from our fellow brothers and sisters of different culture, of different color. And when you sit down with any of these men or women, you will learn something you have never learned before. We need to continue the dialogue. With that, I turn over to the DG David. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share.
Thank you, PDG Isaac. You are a gift to the world. Our next story will be presented by past president, immediate past president, Helen Hall of the Rotary Club of Lenoir, my home club. Helen is a lifelong educator. Helen has been a teacher, an advocate, a principal, an administrator, and a member of the local school board. She is a very impressive person to know. Past President Helen, welcome. Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, District Governor David. I appreciate it, and I had so much to think about since you gave me this particular invitation. And I was already in set, like ready, set, go for today until I stumbled a little bit midday when I went to the post office, and in front of me was a tall Caucasian man in a black t-shirt with white letters on it. And you know how you are, you read bumper stickers, you read t-shirts, you read those things in your midst. But right in my face was a t-shirt that said, "Every man may feel like holding up the black flag and beginning the slaughter. I had to read it twice. I thought, no, I'm uncomfortable even being in this spot. And if he turns around, I don't know what kind of look I'll give him, because there was a really, really difficult message on that shirt. Every man may want to hold up the black flag and begin the slaughter. And many of you know those symbols and what they mean. And I stumbled there. I thought, well, Helen, you never have let people and their words, and Isaac and David, you both mentioned words, how they can impact someone's life. I had to remind myself, Helen, you've always gotten past the words, and you've always gone for that which is good, where you can really make a difference. And that's the way it's been for me with Rotary. Fortunately, nothing like that. That was in the public. When it comes to Rotary, nothing like that's ever happened to me. As a matter of fact, in my 27 years as a Rotarian with the Lenora Rotary Club, I've had really good support, except, of course, for a couple gentlemen in my first year who decided that if a woman's coming in this club, and I wasn't just a woman, I was a Black woman, I'm not staying. So there were a few men in our club that were more comfortable with the all men's club, and I was only the second woman ever during that time to join the club. They couldn't take it, but I had to say to myself, okay, Helen, you know how you do things. Just say to yourself, it's their loss, not your loss. Maybe they weren't good for Rotary, and you're coming into Rotary, and maybe you can do that which is good. And that's been important to me, because I believe in what Rotary stands for. I believe in all the activities within which we engage. I believe that we're bigger than much bigger than ourselves. And as Isaac said, from last year's international convention, when I was there, I was overwhelmed with joy and pride and excitement over the diversity that is in Rotary International. And I do see that it's extremely important also. And David was there. We kind of bumped elbows and were around each other, District Governor David, at that same convention in Germany last year. It was overwhelming, and it gave me a great sense of pride and excitement about the diversity that exists. But then in coming back to our local club, I know how important it is for not just Isaac and me, and some of the other African-American members or other minorities, to bring other minorities in. It's the responsibility of all of us. Our world's not just a small little nucleus of just us and our kind, if you may let me use that expression. It's important for us to reach out. And I have found that reaching out, I've been fortunate in bringing in white and Black individuals into the club, and I'll continue to reach out because I do think it's important. I think we enriching each other, and actually it's like a ministry, you might say. When I thought about coming into Rotary and understanding just what Rotary stands for, I thought, well, this is so aligned with my Christian spirit in doing things that can really make a difference. And in standing tall, not to allow myself to feel bumped over if something unkind happens to me. One of my favorite moments, Sister Rotarian, I'll share, was Guy and I were shopping after district meeting, and went into a store shopping and had bags and so forth. And of all of us that went in the store, gift shop I'll call it, I was the only one that the girl at the register asked, let me look in your bag, when I went in there. So I experienced that, and again, I let her look in my bag, and I backed off and decided I didn't feel like shopping anymore. But my white girlfriend, Rotarian, went up to her and really chewed her out, letting her know that she was demonstrating a very racist behavior and that none of us were going to shop in that store. So that's an example of standing together and standing up for each other. You see something, you do something. You see wrong, you do right. So, David, I'm sorry, I could talk a long, long time if you allowed me to, but I know my time is probably already up and I need to give it up. But I want to share with you that I do love Rotary. I love what we stand for and what we do. Nothing has driven me toward leaving. As a matter of fact, my club asked me over 5 years if I would be president, over and over and over. And I kept saying, no, no, no. And had a wonderful year last year in spite of the pandemic. And I'm grateful for being in an organization that stands for that which is right and good and for service for others. So thank you, David. And thank you, listeners.
Thank you, Past President Helen. You're a gift to the world. Our final story will be presented by Past President Steve Hunt. Steve is a retired law enforcement officer and educator. He is a consummate professional. He is a researcher and a trainer. He has a long history in his community, and one of his claims to fame is helping make his Rotary Club of Hickory Sunrise the United Nations of District 7670. I am honored to count Steve among my most recently made friends. Rotary brought Steve and I together. Rotarian Steve, welcome. Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
And Steve, it looks like you need to unmute your microphone.
I tell you, technology is great when it works, District Governor. I say thank you, District Governor David, for the invitation to be here today. I've been a Rotarian somewhere shy of 30 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have something in common there. We have been in Rotary, and I was in a former club, and I told District Governor David that, you know, one of the things every day at that hour was sort of the loneliest hour in my day. Even though there were people at my table who were talking to other people around them, not many of the conversations were with me. And people oftentimes said, well, why did you stay? Well, I stayed because I believe in Rotary. I believe in what Rotary stands for. I believe in the four-way test and the service above self. And all I'd ever heard about Rotary is it's an old white man group. And Sister Helen, I get you. I feel you over there. And me trying to recruit other people of color to that club was almost useless, because I didn't even feel welcome in the own club where I were attending. And after about 7 years, I realized, you know, I'm paying to be here and I'm being treated like this. And I decided that I'm going to stay in Rotary, but I'm going to stay in Rotary at another level. And that's when we started Hickory Sunrise Rotary. And I vowed in that club that that would be known as the United Nations of Rotary, because that would be a diverse club. People from all over the globe has been in our club, from Ghana, from Indonesia, you name it, they've been in our club. And we create a climate in my club where everybody feels valued and welcomed. I think District Governor, past District Governor can relate to that. And I hope that you can anyway. And any of you who choose to join us, we meet pretty early in the morning, but we have a good time. But my whole point here is, I believe in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it, in fact, build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I live by that motto, and I live by the motto of service above self. That's what I'm all about. You know, I'm married. I've been married 47 years, and we have 3 children. And every day, my children, when they go out, I say, you have to live in 2 worlds. That's just the way life is. If you're going to be successful, you have to live in both worlds. Never forget who you are, but always understand you have to know the majority culture to be successful as you move forward in this life. Rotary has opened doors for me that I would not have gotten open any other way. And I know people say, well, why did you stay in if you were treated like that? Because I believe in Rotary. And here I am nearly 30 years in Rotary, and I still believe in Rotary. But everything that we do this point forward has to be intentional. As past District Governor Isaac said, we can't, if we do what we've always done and expect different, you know what that's called. Absolutely. So we've got to be intentional. I'm sort of spearheading an initiative at my college, and I told my president, I said, you don't go out and buy a $1,200 fish finder and they tell you that the fish are over here and you're fishing over here. You're never going to catch any fish. So my point is, when you're recruiting, make sure and understand, just because I'm a person of color, I'm not the poster child for African Americans. I don't know it all. And I was the first one in my club nearly 30 years ago. And anytime we had an issue and it related to someone of color, at that point, I was important to the club. So I love Rotary. I love what we do. I love 7670, and that's why I'm still here. And District Governor Dave, thank you again. As past District Governor Isaac says, no other district governor has taken on this initiative. And I told you in our last meeting, there's a reason that I've been in Rotary for as many years as I have and never seek the district governor's role. My hat is off to you, my friend. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Past President Steve. You are a gift to the world. The inspiration for this important meeting came from my participation in the development of the District 7670 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee statement on the recent social upheaval. At this time, I would ask that District DEI Chair Gaia Goldman to read us that statement for the record.
Thank you, District Governor David. District 7670 wishes to share the following thoughts with our Rotary family in response to recent social upheaval prompted by the killing of George Floyd and others. We support the current dialogue regarding systemic racism in our society. We urge that all lives can only matter when Black lives matter. This is not a political statement, it is a humanitarian imperative. District 7670 is aligned with the recent statement issued by Rotary International, and I'll quote it. At Rotary, we have no tolerance for racism. Promoting respect, celebrating diversity, demanding ethical leadership, and working tirelessly to advance peace are central tenets of our work. We provide service above self, and we follow Rotary's four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? We know this test leaves no room for racism and discrimination in any kind. Historically, District 7670 has widened its impact by welcoming increasingly diverse populations to our ranks. Yet, we recognize we have a responsibility to enhance participation and expand our reach with a more fair, open, and welcoming embrace for people of all backgrounds. Rotarians are people of action. As such, we must be agents of change in our clubs and in our communities. We realize there are no easy fixes and that challenging conversations and work lie before us. This is not only for our leaders, it is important for each of us as Rotarians to end inequities going forward and to eradicate the evil of racism. Rotary's strength has long been the ability and commitment to uniting people with a heart for service. Let us all tap into that strength now as we stand with those who are working for peace and justice to do our part to listen and learn and take appropriate action to ensure we continue fostering positive and lasting change. Rotary District 7670 must be a safe place for conversation and growth. Thank you.
Thank you, DEI Chair Gaia. I appreciate your leadership and your work on this important statement. It has obviously inspired us to take the first step in action, and that is what we have done today. I don't want it to stop here. I want you to take this back to your clubs. I want you to keep it in your communities, put it in your heart, make it part of your life. Be anti-racist. Don't just not be a racist, be anti-racist. In closing, the purpose and intent of this assembly was to inform and inspire. We have achieved this. We will take this new knowledge and understanding with us to our homes, our clubs, our communities. We will let the seeds of hope grow inside us, and we will achieve a more perfect future because of that growth. We will use this inspiration to grow Rotary. I end with the vision statement. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change in our communities, in ourselves, and in the world. Good evening. Thank you for being a great Rotarian. Rotary opens opportunities. We are hereby adjourned.